What is up, guys? Welcome to your 14th C++ tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going to be going over constructors, what they are and why they are useful. So first of all, I want to tell you guys what a constructor is. A constructor is a function that gets called automatically as soon as you create an object. So before, what we could do is we could create an object and use that object to call functions from our class. Well, now as soon as we create this object, it's going to call a function called a constructor. We don't need to explicitly use that object to call a function. It's going to do it automatically. So if you're saying, alright Bucky, you talk the talk, time to walk the walk, show me an example. Well, creating a constructor is incredibly simple. To do so, it's basically the same as creating a function with a couple weird rules. First of all, I need to tell you guys this. Constructors never have a return type, so you don't need to type int or void or string or anything like that. The only thing you need to do is type the constructor name, and the constructor name is always the same as the class name, the exact same. So let's go ahead and copy this and paste it right here, and that's how your C++ program knows that it's a constructor, because once it comes across a function with the same name, it knows that that is the constructor. So let's go ahead and we'll add no parameters, and in the body, what do we want to happen as soon as we create this object? We can have just, maybe it'll print something out on the screen like this will get printed automatically. Pretty cool, huh? So now we have a constructor that's going to get called automatically as soon as you create an object. And you're saying, alright, you keep saying that, but what exactly does that mean? Well, say we have an object from Bucky class named BO. Well, before, we would have to write BO dot yada yada yada, whatever we wanted to use from it. But now, as soon as we create this object, this constructor is going to get called. So let's go ahead, build and run this and see. This will get printed automatically. Blah, 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 automatically. So you could see that before we needed to use that object to call functions, but this is a special function called a constructor that gets called automatically as soon as you create that object. So you're saying, alright, that's pretty cool and interesting, but why wouldn't I just, print this out on the screen or something else? What's the use of a constructor? Why would you even want things to happen automatically? Well, typically people don't print things out in their constructors. Actually, if you see anyone printing something out in their constructor, then they're an idiot and you should slap them upside the head, because constructors, the main reason that people make constructors are to give variables an initial value. So for example, this class has a variable called name, but it might have another variable called age, height, weight, favorite color, favorite sports team, have all these variables. So as soon as you create an object from that class, you might want to assign a bunch of values to these variables right now. So in order to do that, here is what you do. Whenever you want to take a value and assign it to a variable, you need to add a parameter in your constructor. So let's go ahead and assign a value to this name right here. And in order to do that, we need to pass in string and just name it Z or something. So now what we can do is we're going to be passing it in a string to be setting it equal to name. Well, we already have a function that does that called setName. So in order to do that, just go ahead and call setName with a parameter of Z. So now later on, whenever we want to use our constructor can take a parameter as well. And for our parameter, let's just go ahead and write something like Lucky Bucky Roberts. And now what's going to happen is this. As soon as we create this object, it's going to call a constructor with a parameter Lucky Bucky Roberts. So it's going to go up, see if it has a constructor. Oh, I do. And as my parameter, I need a string. And for a string, we gave it Lucky Bucky Roberts. So anytime it saw Z, it plugged in Lucky Bucky Roberts. So it says, alright, in your constructor, you told me to set the name equal to Lucky Bucky Roberts. So it basically set the name equal to Lucky Bucky Roberts. So pretty much Lucky Bucky Roberts got passed into Z, which got passed into X, which got passed into name. So that's why our name was Lucky Bucky Roberts. So now that our name is Lucky Bucky Roberts, that gets kind of repetitive saying that, but anyways, we can just go ahead and print it out on the screen or something. So of course, to access anything in our class, you use the object and of course the get name just like that function. So let's go ahead and build and run this, and we have int main. We got a problem here. Hold on one second. Let me find it. Oh, I see. What the heck? How in the world did I do that? For some reason, I must have actually hit paste or something, but I copied the word name outside my class. I just wrote the word name randomly in the middle of my program. So remember not to put words randomly in the middle of your program or else it won't run. So now let's go ahead and build and run this and check it out. Lucky, Bucky, Roberts. So that is the basics of a constructor, how they work, and also how you can add a parameter to your constructor. And basically the only times you want to add parameters to your constructors is whenever you're taking those variables that are inside your class and you want to set them equal to values initially. So that is basically why a constructor is useful. Whenever you have a bunch of variables in your class and you want to set them equal to values initially, that is how you can do that. So here's that example, and you just printed out our name. So simple enough. So aside from this, I guess I have time to show you this one thing. You might be thinking, alright, so I have an object from this Bucky class named BO, and its name is equal to Lucky Bucky Roberts. So does that mean later on, if I were to create another object from the Bucky class named like BO2, and I set this name equal to what's even dumber than Lucky Bucky Roberts? Sally McSalad? That's what's on my mind right now. So does that mean that I'm gonna overwrite this one? Well, let's go ahead and print out bo2 dot get name, just like this. So let's go ahead and print it out and see what we get. Lucky Bucky Roberts and Sally McSalad. So what I want to stress is this. Whenever you create an object from a class, each object has its own set of variables. So this object, BO, name is Lucky Bucky Roberts. This object is named Sally McSalad. Even though they're from the same class, it's not like changing the same variable. So even though we set this BO2 equal to Sally McSalad, it didn't overwrite this. They're just from the same template pretty much. So anyways, what I wanted to stress is that you can create multiple objects from the same class and they don't overwrite each other. They're just assigned their each set of variables. Am I saying that right? They're each assigned a set of variables. So yeah, just wanted to stress that before we get into objects and classes more and you get confused. So anyways, that's just a little side note. Stick with constructors, and then once you're good with constructors, you're ready to move on to my next tutorial. But for now, thank you guys for watching, and remember, don't stick words into randomly middle of your program. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next video.